Here with us now, retired NASA astronaut and ISS commander LEROY+CHIAO+5. LEROY, great to see you.
Great to see you too.
You know how much I love talking space. So this is the 7th human flight for the new Shepard program, the 25th overall. How does this build on previous missions, and what are you looking forward to today?
Sure, it's nice to see Blue Origin resume flying people to the edge of space. As you mentioned, this is the 25th flight of the new Shepard vehicle. About 2 years ago, suffered an anomaly with an engine nozzle, and it took, I guess, that amount of time for them to resolve it, get recertified, and now they're ready to launch people again. Now, to be clear, this is just going up to touch space and coming back down. They're not going into orbit, so it is a very quick flight, but the people on board will get to see the curvature of the Earth. They'll get a few minutes of weightlessness, and they'll get the, get a taste of the experience of being up in space. So I'm sure they're all very excited and hoping that things are going to go, as you said, in just less than an hour.
So we know this is the first Blue Origin launch in more than 2 years. What's behind the long delay when it comes to these flights?
Sure, it comes down to being very careful and going through studying what happened with the anomaly, with the mishap, and then coming up with corrective solutions to try to learn from those experiences and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And that's what we do in spaceflight. We want to try to learn as much as we can from every mission and everything that goes wrong, and to try to make it safer and safer every time we fly. So it just seemed like it took a long time, and maybe this wasn't their highest priority. They're working on a lot of other things, including some big rockets that hopefully will fly soon. But it's nice to see them getting back into the launch business.
I wanted to ask you some more because about the 15-minute flight. You mentioned these astronauts will feel weightlessness. They'll go into suborbital atmosphere. What else will they experience?
Right, so I think the most spectacular thing will be, the view out the window, getting to see what we call the Earth limb, which is the horizon, seeing the curvature of the Earth, looking out, seeing the blackness of space, looking down and seeing the beautiful colors of the Earth. And, unfortunately, it'll just be a few minutes. They'll get a few minutes, they'll get a taste, but it's not so bad.
Okay, so thank you for that. And space tourism, and you know this, LEROY, it costs a lot of money, as much as $250,000 for a seat. Is it worth it, in your opinion? I personally do. Do you?
Well, if I had never been there, sure, I would. If I had the means, I would certainly go. It costs. I'm not sure how much Blue Origin is charging. The early people that signed up with Virgin Galactic to go on their space plane, also a suborbital effort, those were around $250,000 each. I don't know how much Blue Origin is charging, but if you're going to go into orbit, now you're talking a lot more money. You're talking $50, $75 million for a week in space, or even on the International Space Station. So out of reach for most of us, but I'm telling you, the thrill is worth it if you have the means.
Millions of dollars. But do you think this will ever become affordable in our lifetimes?
It really depends. It comes down to, we need a big breakthrough in propulsion technology where we have some kind of an engine that is super reliable and also inexpensive. You look at a company like SpaceX, they brought the cost of launching a satellite from $150 to $200 million down to $35 million. But then if you put a spacecraft on top of that rocket, okay, it no longer costs you $50 or $75 million a person, or 4 people on a capsule, but now you're still talking about $8 or $9 million. That's still a big number for the vast majority of us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we really need to bring the cost down a lot more for to allow people like us to go and pay for a seat.
LEROY, you and I have been talking about space for years now, but lately we've seen a lot of buzz around space-related topics like that solar eclipse, that geomagnetic storm we covered a few weeks ago. How does that publicity help the industry?
I think any kind of story that talks about space and the universe helps to kind of bring awareness to space exploration, which is a positive thing. I mean, I think the more people that get interested in what's going on out there and spacecraft, it's good for the whole industry. So I'm glad to see interest in those kinds of stories, and hope it keeps going.
Well, we're glad to see you on Morning in America this Sunday. We hope you come back, LEROY. LEROY+CHIAO+5. Thank you.